Hi, Rigsters here, back with another episode of Most Wanted Redux. On the previous one, I forgot to hit the record button on the microphone, so it was an equipment malfunction happy accident, so to say. So we'll continue on with Blacklist 14. On the previous one, we made some progress, we got the race wins and the milestone. Now we need to get bounty. So how do we do that? Well, it's easy. You hit bounty. Let's do... You can select a bunch of spawn points as well. I love the lore for the donut shop. So, basically, we're going to have some pursuits going on for this episode. So let's get into it. Okay, and we're right into it. Off that. So, one other funny thing to note. Oh, okay, I thought I messed up something. Okay, I can start moving again. So, I wasn't able to say this because the previous episode had an equipment malfunction due to user error. Pursuits at the early level of this game are almost too easy. And the reason that being that is because you have no higher than usually heat level 2 until you get past the next boss or two. Meaning that, if your car is tuned like this, you can easily outrun them and not gain the bounty you need. Right now we're at 400. Obviously, that's not going to fly. The risk is, if you do that, it kinda gets a little bumpy. Oh, that almost was a collision there. Okay, now we just do a little tap here. Another thing you want to do if you want to actually take them out quickly is hitting the nitrous button and trying to hit their sides, not the head on, but the sides. That does the most damage. It is a little arcadey, but it's also sort of realistic. Because in real life, if you were trying to bash a car, you would want to hit the sides to deal more frame damage, without, of course, hurting yourself as much. Don't ask me where I got this information, because it's from a really long time ago where I learned it from. So, we're just flying around downtown in Most Wanted verse. You know, just casually knocking down yield signs, going the wrong direction. Basically, all the stuff you're seeing right here, don't do in real life. Obviously, it would get you killed, or worse. Well, actually, what's worse than death? Yeah. So, this game is unique in the fact that they have pursuit breakers, which I'm going to use right now. Right there. There you go, and you see in the middle of your screen it says Civic boom 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 like that. That is bonus objectives completed. So now I just have to evade pursuit. Oh jeez. Almost got myself busted there. Now let's engage the nitrous. That expensive nitrous upgrade is very handy for situations like that, and that's why you want to set the tuning so that it lasts longer, even though the boost power is shorter. This game really made that part of the tuning aspect of the nitrous more popular. I believe the first game, you can correct me in the comments about this, was all the way back from Need for Speed Underground 2. A game I always actually wanted to play. I heard a lot of good things about it, but never got a chance to play it. That also was a good game. Older game than even this, but a good one. Back in the peak days of the history of Need for Speed. Oops! Oh, it just let me tap them and just combusted. Okay, well, that works. Alright, let's see if we can use raw speed. Oop. Well, that doesn't help. And now I'm out of nitrous. Great. Sometimes these pursuits in real time can take much longer than what the recorded film is. In real time, this pursuit took 5 minutes. It's only 3 minutes pursuit time, for example. And now, I'm just going as fast as I can on the highway. There we go. And then it gives you some bounty stuff. You can hit continue. And you can see like the duration and stats and the cost of state. That's the one you want to do for the mission. You can also see the infractions you can do. Well, I did all but 3 with the little check marks right there. And then there's milestones, which is your mission objectives if you want to get to the boss. You hit continue there. And there's incoming message. Alright. Great. So now the bounty is high enough for that. We can jump to the safe house and challenge him. Alright, so now we can challenge the next rival. This one actually is easier in terms of race design because they're just sprints. And I always like sprint mode in this game. I actually like sprint style racing in any racing game for that matter, realistic or not. This game is quasi-realistic. I mean, it does take a lot of liberties. So let's go to it. Alright, and after an interesting cutscene, we get the Lexus IS300. Now, the Lexus IS300 in this game, nice looking show car, has a lot of history in real life as well. It was a very popular Lexus, more entry-level, sporty sedan that tuners really made some really interesting variations of body kits as well in real life. In the game, I don't really like that golden paint. I like the body kit on it though. It is definitely harder than, of course, the first boss that I did in episode 2, which I like right here. But that being said, like I've been hinting at this whole time, and gosh, I always sound like a broken record, don't I? This game gets hard. This boss, I can already tell you, I'm sure of you, partly aided by my incompetent driving, is hard. Even though this is 2. We're already 33% through the race. They're gonna get 1337, like the gamer nerd meme. Anyways, I'm just casually driving a modded Ford Focus SVT while hitting a Chrysler Town and Country from 2004. Yes, I know too much about cars sometimes. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, let's just say I read about cars a lot. And I also talk to a lot of people who are into this kind of stuff, so that also helps. Words to the wise. Regardless of things you do in life, if you find somebody that's passionate about something you like stuff like cars as a good example, i.e. if you're interested or actually watching this, talking to people that either have experience or at least an interest in what you're doing is always a great way of exchanging information and learning. That goes with any game and anything in life, as I've learned through the years. And also, age is not always the most important thing. There could be people that are significantly older than me that don't know anything about this kind of stuff, and that's fine. And there also could be people significantly younger than me that think this stuff is cool, but they don't know much about it either, as an example. So don't let age define source of information, is the main thing. And with that Professor Riggs moment, we win the race easily at 163 miles an hour. The next sprint, Rosewood and State. Oh, this is a shorter sprint, because the rival's best time, the shorter the rival's best time is, the more likely the race is shorter. That's another way of telling if the race is harder or faster. And as per usual, I do skip cutscenes of this game. Not that they're bad, but I'm pretty certain most people have seen it by now. Or if not, I don't think the audience that typically will watch this video would be that interested in it. Of course, I'm willing to change that, but there's really not a whole lot outside of some interesting driving and copyrighted music that I can't play for YouTube. At least on paper. And you may be wondering about the music that I use for the intro and outro, if you ever wondered about that. Where I got it from, as a YouTube creator, it's actually very easy to access. They have a music library that most of them, not all of them, but a vast majority of them do not require special accreditation because it is free for everybody to use for YouTube. So, for example, if you do that whole monetize thing, which maybe in the future I might do, if we ever get to that point, you can use those for the intro and outro, as an example. YouTube tip while hitting a Dodge Ram 1500. Hooray for incompetent driving. That would have killed anybody in real life. At least at these speeds, 120 miles an hour. This race is actually pretty easy. The first one actually was harder. This one's a little easier. Oh, and that corner caught me out. So yeah, driving around in Ford Focus SVT, modded. This is a mod car. It's very capable. I'm pretty happy with how it drives in this game. I thought it was gonna be not as good as the Cobalt, but it turns out it's just as good, if not slightly better, in terms of handling at least. Cobalt's also a good choice for a beginner's car in this game, even though it's a little derpier in this handling. And with that, we beat the rival at a much slower speed, but we win 6 grand. Yay. Alright, so now we're at the selection thing. As before, I am going to do one bonus marker that's question mark and a performance upgrade. The reason being that unique performance upgrades is a very cool and cheesy way of getting ridiculously powerful parts for the endgame content. Usually, if you want the rival's car, there's a higher chance with these 3 markers to do the one furthest to the left and the one furthest to the right. The center is not as often. Now sometimes you can get in the center, but I don't really want this rival's car. Outside of the car's history, I don't really think it's that good in the game, per se. It is looks-wise good, but not performance-wise. Oh god. Well, I mean, it's not useless, but okay. Well, I guess apparently I want it anyways, but hey, that's how you can see if you scored your car for pink slips. Long story short, pink slips in the car world basically means that if they lose the race, their ride is yours. It's an agreed upon thing. It's a very dangerous thing to do because if you really like your car, well, you agreed to get rid of it, so it's no longer yours. Let's see what we get for performance. Oh, good, a useful one. Suspension. The first time I did it, but the first boss I got brakes, which in this game is not as vital, if ever, unfortunately, but suspension is good. Alright, so the next boss is a Toyota Supra, the good one. And its strength is pursuit length. I don't know why that would be a strength for when you challenge the boss, but I guess it's good to know. Otherwise known as Vic. Okay, so let's go back to the safe house. Start up there. And let's see how much cash we have. 17,000. Let's go to the tune shop, or the car shop real quick. The amount is... I had at one point 17,200, but then my recorder had a issue. In particular, it crashed, so now I'm resuming it with a different recorder that hopefully should work just fine. So let's see what's in here. Alright, let's go to performance real quick here. And see here, we can't do an engine upgrade. We actually have 26,400. I do want to get another car as well, but right now, as I'm checking through here with nitrous, see if we can upgrade that. Nope. Need to advance through there. Tires. Okay, so we already upgraded the tires. Brakes. I mean, I guess they're okay to put in, so we'll put in the brakes, even though it's not really vital in this game. Turbo is fine. And we'll just hit done and check out. And we'll have 23,300. And with that 23,300, let's jump back to Safe House. Alright, and then check the list here real quick. So, the target is 4 race wins. We already won one of them because when the recorder crashed, I did a spoof race. Need 3 milestones and 100,000 bounty. So let's go to race events and do one last race on the toll booth, which will earn us 2,500. Alright, so I really like the toll booth race along with the sprint format, because what this does is it allows you to earn cash without having to do multiple laps per race. And one last thing before I continue here is performance tuning. Now, this is what caused the recording to crash the last time, is when I was doing stuff here. I'm gonna upgrade the steering, well, not upgrade, but prefer a little more sensitivity on the handling and steering to be more responsive and the handling to be a little bit stiffer. Nitrous, I'm going to do 3 clicks to the left. And turbo, what this does is if you move it towards the right, it does higher boost at higher RPMs, but it's not as good down low. I'm going to do 1 notch to the left for that. So that way I get a little more pressure from the turbo at lower RPMs than at higher RPMs. At least that's how this game works for the tuning. In actuality, in real life, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's basically in a nutshell what the turbo does. For the nitrous, when you reduce it to the left side, that allows for longer boost duration, but less boost pressure. So you can boost longer, but it won't be as powerful. It's more useful in this game to have longer duration than raw power for the nitrous. Handling, I'm actually going to do 2 clicks. I like my cars to understeer a little bit, particularly in this game. So I'm going to do it that way. And for steering, I don't do more than 2 clicks to the right to make it a little bit more responsive with the gamepad. Now I'm going to hit accept and continue on. That's basically how you can do tuning in this game. And as you notice, this car is a little more twitchy, which is fine. I like a little bit of twitchiness in this game. Here we go. Now the car is doing pretty good. Seems like at high speeds the turbo is not working as effectively. May actually be losing potential performance, so I go back to tuning and actually make the turbo 2 clicks to the right and hit accept. And also in there, I want the steering to be a little less sensitive, so I'm going to move that down there, hit accept, and move on. And if you notice, there's a little, like, what sounds like a chirp or a bird whistle. That is the turbo wastegate kicking in, allowing the turbo to at least get some RPMs back in the turbine section of the turbo housing. It's like a little propeller that's powered by the exhaust gas, and that increases boost pressure, which allows your car to make more power as it revs up. That's basically a very simplified way of doing it. That's basically how it functions on a basic nutshell. Now this toll booth one's a little bit trickier than the other one because you have to maintain high speeds, which this car could do. This is a modded car, by the way. This is not in the stock game. This mod is also really nice. As I've mentioned before in older videos, this NFS Redux mod is very nice on PC. Enhances the graphics, of course, but also adds a lot of cars that originally never came with the game. And this is actually not bad. It's actually even better than I expected, to be honest, this Ford Focus SVT. It just, the handling on this is phenomenal. Once you put those tires on, it's such a shame I have to get another car. Because after a while, you can't race the same car unless if you want to have constant cop chases. Yep, and then Vic is trying to intimidate you. and pursuit milestone infos. It's just game tutorial and lore. Don't really need to go through that. But if you want to review them, you can. I'm gonna jump to the safe house real quick and wrap this up here. So we're back up to 25,800, which I know is not enough to buy another car that's worth considering. I could also just keep gunning it out with the Ford Focus SVT until I can't. And after a while, if your heat level is too high in this game, it becomes almost pointless if you're trying to get more bounty. So it does encourage you gradually to consider having at least another car so you're not being constantly chased at higher levels. Because you will be constantly chased after a while in this game. It's just slowly getting more difficult. And if you want to support the channel as I wrap this up, I do run a Ko-Fi page with the goal of getting a better joystick to better understand flight games such as IL-2 Stormvic and DCS World. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rigsters Journey, signing off.